True story, I told my girlfriend one time that I played Mass Effect about 12 times, and then Mass Effect 2 6 times, like to completion. And then she promptly asked me, "Are you autistic?" And that was shit. Hey everyone, it's me, Goose. How you doing? So, here we are, March 24th. Last week was my birthday. Thank you all so much for the happy birthday wishes. Really meant a lot. And now I got a bunch of new subscribers. At least a bunch for someone as small as me. It's like I got like 100 subscribers in the past week, which is great. Hi, how you doing? I hope you like these weekly update videos. I make them, not my most watched videos, but I do like making them a lot. This week, quite a few things happened. Some of you might have watched my Mighty Morphin Power Rangers thing. Actually, the movie came out last night and it's out today. So I'll watch the movie sometime this weekend and you'll see a review up by Monday, maybe. Hopefully I can get it done by Monday. Or if I can, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm gonna watch that fucking movie, you know, but whatever. That aside, there's also the whole Mass Effect thing, which is the one thing I do want to talk about the most during this video, because I have a few thoughts on that. So as I said in the beginning of this video, I've played Mass Effect a ton. I've played it 12 or 14 different times as different characters to completion, waiting for Mass Effect 2. And when Mass Effect 2 came out, played that about 6 times to completion, which is great. Mass Effect 3, I only just once. And that's not because I hated Mass Effect 3. I loved it a lot. But, you know, there's a reason why I made so many different profiles, or rather, so many different save states. And that's because I wanted to see the different paths and where they went, and I felt like I was satisfied with one particular save state, so I decided to go with that and play that to completion, and I was just like, I don't really need to see anything else. That ending, it just kind of, if this all accumulates to just that ending, it's But there are some choices that do matter. A lot of people make it seem like Mass Effect 3 didn't take everything into consideration. They did take a ton of it into consideration, but maybe not to the point that you wanted it. It was this epic space drama that just didn't seem to fulfill its destiny, you know? Everybody loved Mass Effect. There was a Mass Effect craze, and then when Mass Effect 3 happened, Jesus Christ, everyone was up in arms, and it was over. It was over then. And now BioWare, after fucking how many years has it been? 4 years? 5 years maybe since the last Mass Effect game came out? It's been over that many years, and suddenly they announced last year that they're coming out with a new Mass Effect Andromeda game. Or maybe even earlier than that, but it was just like out of nowhere. Like, really? We're gonna have another Mass Effect game? Awesome, that's really dope. And now it's out, and now a lot of people don't like it. A lot of the complaints that people seem to be talking about are like, oh, it's Mass Effect. This game just sort of seems like a game BioWare made for the sake of having another Mass Effect IP. And you know, to that regard, and you know, to that sense, I understand that, because yes, it just seems kind of out of left field, you know, like, even though Mass Effect 3 was the end of the Mass Effect saga, I do see how it can, like, expand on that lore. There was a ton of lore. They could make prequels, they could make sequels, they could do whatever the fuck they wanted with that franchise. And then they went ahead with this, and it's like, there were so many issues with it, apparently. Now, listen, I didn't play the game. I don't plan to, because from what I hear, it doesn't seem like it's worth it. But I am a huge Mass Effect fan that I feel like I need to experience this. And plus, a lot of people, even though they're saying that it's the worst game they've played so far this year, I can assure you there's going to be a ton more terrible games this year. The fact that some people do like a worst games of 2017 list, you know, by the end of December or by January, the fact that people are going to do that, and I know they're going to include Mass Effect Andromeda, that just seems like a sin. Because I know for a fact there are so many indie games out there that are just going to be so much worse. And I've heard a lot of people say that it's okay. It's not the worst game ever. Some people would say it's even better than Dragon Age 2, which was BioWare's other flop. But I look at some of these reviews and I see that some people actually enjoy the game for what it is. And just like I said in my Breath of the Wild video, there are some people who's going to say it sucks, but you know what? It's also okay if other people say it's good. In this case, Andromeda. Some people are going to say it's great, some people are going to say it's bad, and it's okay either way. But I just don't see how this is going to be the worst game of 2017, because trust me, there's so much worse. I know for a fact there's going to be some game around the corner, some major AAA game that's going to be even worse or more disappointing, that everybody's just going to hate, and just like, it's just going to be, there's going to be so much worse. Like, I don't think this is going to be the worst game of 2017. I will say, for me personally, hearing all this crap about this game, about the facial animations, about the developers saying how the game was being fucked around with during development, I hear a lot of people say that there was a lot of infighting and a lot of troubles and a lot of people being ignorant about the game's quality. And all this accumulates to me personally saying that this is my disappointing 2017 game. This is just disappointing. I don't know about bad, but it's just so sad to see a giant franchise like this being reduced to rubble because of a few infights or a few alleged Tumblr-et kind of rumors going around saying that they didn't want females to be super hot in this game. It's the drama, the Andromeda of this game is just so out there, man. It's so sad to see, because I love this. Like, even if you didn't even like Mass Effect 3, it was good. It was a good game. The only shit thing about the game was the ending. 3 choices for like the thousands of different things you promised us, and you're just gonna give us 3 choices for the end. That's garbage. But Mass Effect 3 was still a pretty good game, so there's that, I guess. But with this, it's like, what is salvageable anymore? The facial animations, the guns, glitches, the countless amount of just everything. Everything was just all crumbling. Oh, good God. And you know, I've seen a lot of BioWare devs defend the game's development and all that such, but it just seems like, you know, if you are going to defend your game, I understand that you will, because it's your game, you worked on it, and a lot of people are criticizing it. I've seen some people make some weak arguments in the BioWare development team. Some saying that, oh, it was just a really big game, we couldn't handle it all. You know what else is a really big game? Witcher 3. And that, I'm pretty sure, had fewer developers than what BioWare has, you know? And it's successful. Sure, it has all of its glitches. It's a massive, massive game. It's a ton of glitches. But to the magnitude of what Mass Effect Andromeda has been showing, it doesn't seem like it. And Andromeda is a game that came out years, maybe a few years, but still years after Witcher 3 came out. You should have learned something. Maybe you should have tried something else. I don't know. I can't judge a developer for doing his job. Of course, I know that making games is such a difficult fucking task, but as the rumors allege, there's been a ton of infighting, there's been a lot of rushing of the product, and it's not like we haven't seen a rushed product before. As I mentioned, Dragon Age 2 was another flop by BioWare, and apparently it was rushed out super fucking fast. Granted, it's not the worst game ever, just like Mass Effect Andromeda, but it still had the issue of being rushed out. I remember when Dragon Age 2 was announced, I was like, what, really? Like, really? The Dragon Age Origins just came out last year. You're gonna announce Dragon Age 2? Alright. That's dope. I love Dragon Age Origins. Dragon Age 2 came out and I was like, oh, you know, this isn't really what I expected. So, I don't know. I'm just rambling, but that's all my Friday updates videos ever are. They're not constructive criticism on anything or any sort of social commentary on the gaming developing world, whatever. It's just a ramble video, and I know maybe I didn't articulate myself well, but I just want to know what your thoughts are on the Andromeda thing, because to me, it is very crushing to see my favorite franchise, my favorite sci-fi franchise, which I don't have a lot of. This and Star Wars are probably the only things I have when it comes to sci-fi. Fucking hate everything else. I'm telling you, I hate everything else. So it's just extra tragic for me to see that this game that I was kind of excited for suddenly fall and crumble and just not excelled to what it could actually be, and that is a good game. But as I said, I like to know what you guys think. It's a strange thing, you know. But getting out of the whole, Andromeda topic, I would like to take your questions. So, if you're new to this channel, you can ask any sort of question you'd like, except for the green bow thing. I know a lot of people always ask about, why is your avatar a girl? How about you just watch the video that I have on my featured tab? It's right there. Look up, why do I wear a green bow on my channel? That's why I wear it. But anyways, if you have any questions, just put in the hashtag Q and I will find you. You could put that on the comment section. I'm not gonna, if you put in hashtag Q on Twitter, I'm probably not gonna fucking find it. But just do it on the comment section, and if you want to, you could just tweet me a Q on my Twitter right here. Okay. So let's get started with these questions. So first things first, I do want to limit the questions I get per video every week, because I don't want to answer like 10 or 12 different kinds of questions like I did last week. The only reason I did it last week was because, well, it's the first time you guys ever actually asked questions on the show, so I was like, yeah, sure, why not? But this time around, I want to take only about 4 to 5 questions a week, but particularly just 4. That feels like my lucky number. Well, it's not really my lucky number, it's my girlfriend's lucky number. So if it's her lucky number, let's see if it's my lucky number. Oh, fucking, I keep saying that over and over again. So first off, I just want to get this question out of the way. It's from Zenith. Okay, so Goose, I'm watching Lyrik Lyric play? Okay, Lyric play 100-foot robot golf, and I swear you're one of the people doing the voice lines in it. Is this in fact true? It's not actually true, but I do know a lot of YouTubers that, I don't know them personally, but I do know that there are some YouTubers who actually lended their voice to the game, right? Is that true? Because I know that's true. No, I have not voiced anybody in that game, but if anybody out there is listening and they're from the development team and you're releasing any DLC characters and you need a voice, I'm up here, I'll do it for fucking free. I'll do it for free. I don't care. I love voicing shit. I love doing it. Next question is from Glanderson Booper, which you had a question last week. I should probably stop taking questions from the same people over and over again. Have you read JoJo Leon? If you have, what are your opinions on it? I have read JoJo Leon. I've been reading it up until December, or maybe November. It's been a while. I know Araki recently took a hiatus, so I don't know if he's back on the manga. But yeah, I read it up to that point, and I love it. I fucking love it. A lot of people like to say JoJo Part 7 is their favorite. For me personally, not so much. I mean, I love Part 7 a lot. Trust me, I do. But it's not my favorite. It was probably Part 4 that was my favorite, or Part 3. No, Part 4 was my favorite, totally. And now Part 8 is proving to be my favorite, and that's kind of ironic because it's just literally Part 4, but it's like alternative universe. It's really fucking funny. But yeah, I love Part 8. A lot of people don't seem to like it, and that's because it's not an action. It's not an action JoJo part, which I can understand because every single part up until then has been like action or something. But this one is way slower. There's been a lot fewer stands that we've seen, and that's fine. I love it when stands are just fewer and rarer, I like the encounter to be much more special than, oh my god, Stardust Crusaders, next week we're gonna find another stand user, oh no, another one. I love Stardust Crusader a lot, but it gets kind of repetitive every single week, every single month there's a new stand user, and I'm not saying I don't like stands, it's just, the rarity of them makes them much more terrifying, and considering that Part 8 doesn't take place in any place special except Morio again, and the fact that there are just people, just strangers who just happen to have stands, that could be anybody, I like that a lot. That's always just frightening to know that your neighbor or your mayor or somebody you know as your best friend has a stand. I love that. But also I love the fact that Part 8 is just a mystery. I love mysteries a lot, and we've been getting a lot of answers that lead into more questions, and that's just awesome. But right now I don't know what Araki's planning to do, because we're in a part where it seems like we're kind of done with the arc, but there's nothing more to add. It's so weird. I guess that's why Araki took his hiatus, because I don't even think he knows where to go with part 8. There's still a lot of questions unanswered, and I don't know if he has the ability to answer any of them, but we'll see. I need to catch up. I haven't read any of the last few chapters, so we'll see. Next question is from Devin Williams. Do you play any musical instruments? What instruments do you wish you could play? I play the violin, and I do kind of know piano. Also saxophone, but not really proficiently. I'm way better with my violin than piano or saxophone. But if I had to learn an instrument, I would say the guitar. And acoustic guitar, I guess. Electric guitar more so, or bass guitar rather. Just because I like it. It just seems like a really fun instrument to play. And I have a guitar. My sister got me an electric guitar for my birthday like years ago, and I never really had the chance to actually learn anything from it. So I would love to do that. I would love to do music more. I love... You guys know, I use the same kind of music over and over. It's either lo-fi hip-hop or rapping. I love beats and shit, but I love rock. I love all kinds of music, you know? So it would really, really just make me so happy if I could just make a song. That would make my day, my week, my year. So, yeah, if I had to answer it, just electric guitar, and yeah, maybe someday I'll make music. Hopefully. Music's hard. Next question is from Steen Bean. Apparently I missed your question last week. I thought I got everyone. I guess I missed it. Your question was, I'm not trying to taunt you, but if you could, would you buy a Switch? By the way, we both have a green bow. We do. And you messaged me a few times on Twitter. I never answered you back, but hey, hi. I love you. Yeah, okay. Would I, if I could, buy a Switch? No. Right now, no. I don't really like the Switch. The Switch is conceptually the Switch is awesome. It's really cool. The HD rumble and the sensor, the infrared sensor, the fucking swapping, the switching concept is really cool. Everything is really cool about it. And I feel like there are rumors going around that it might implement some sort of VR thing. You know, it's totally possible. But as of right now, I don't really care much for the Switch. To me, a console is only worth buying once it has enough games that is exclusive to it. Right now, so many consoles are just dying because they don't really have exclusive games to them. Let's face it. PS4, really cool console, awesome. Uncharted 4 is great. Fucking Bloodborne is awesome. But other than that, amongst many other games that it has, it doesn't really have a catalog worth competing against, say, a PC, you know? And the Xbox One, I felt like, had a really smart idea in which they implement the Xbox One and the PC together. They just basically make them a hybrid, you know? And that's really cool. Because I think Microsoft understands that the PC market is stronger than ever before. You know, PS4, Xbox One, even the Nintendo Switch, they can't compete against PC power. So now either they have exclusive games, which is why I bought my PS4, because even though I said that there aren't that many, there are a ton that I was interested in, like Uncharted 4 and Bloodborne. But it just always seems like every time we hear about PS4 news or Xbox One news, there's always like, there's a new version of the console coming out and it's going to be strong, but it's still not as strong as the PCs. And it's disappointing. So back to the Switch, I don't want to buy it because there aren't that many games that I want for it. Like, okay, there's Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. That's one game everyone knows about. What else, though? What else is there? There's Bomberman? I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing I would want from it. I don't really care about Shovel Knight, really care about Bomberman. You know, I don't really care. Unless they announce some sort of, like, Wario adventure game, like, you know, Warrior Land 6 or 7, how many there were, I would buy that shit in a heartbeat. I love Wario. He's the coolest motherfucker ever, and he has the best fucking games. So I will buy a Nintendo Switch as soon as they do that, but I don't really care about any other games that are coming out. ARMS, no, not really. Splatoon 2, not really. Mario, I don't really care. So no, I don't know. Probably not. Last question is by Per Second Hacks. Now, you asked a question last week, which I answered last week, but this one was very, very interesting, so I had to answer it. Your question was, is it possible for someone to judge a game simply by watching gameplay of it? For example, if you watch a bunch of gameplay videos on Telltale's Walking Dead to the point where you know every outcome, is it alright to judge the game now that you pretty much got every part of the writing, animation, sound, etc. in your mind? P.S. If your answer is no, because maybe the controls suck and that's part of judging a full game, what about playing like 30 minutes of it and getting a sense of gameplay and then watching the rest? So that's a very interesting question. And my answer is just, you gotta play a game. You really gotta play it. Even if it's not for 30 minutes, I think you really have to experience it for yourself. You know, you are not there when the loading screens happen. You aren't there when every random encounter happens. You know, when you watch a Let's Play online, they usually either skip the loading screens or skip the random encounters. You, as the audience member, can just skip that part or skip the part where somebody's repeating the same level over and over again. Like, I know I'm subscribed to Uber Hacksaw Nova, and I've seen him play a ton of Mario because I thought it was funny as hell. You know, Mario Maker rather, and I thought it was a ton of fun. But there were a lot of parts where he just edited out, and you know, when it comes to that, you can't really judge a game just by watching it or even knowing the story. Sure, you can critique the story if you like, because it's just the story. But when it comes to a game, there's more to it than the story, you know. I know everyone's going to point at my Final Fantasy 15 review where I just judged the story. I played the entire game, I thought it was okay. But the story is really what got to me, just because this is an RPG, and this is the only motivation that I have. And, you know, that's the thing I hated about it. It was the story. There was no motivation. I don't give a shit about anything. Even the gameplay was just monotonous, even though I had a lot of fun playing it. It was just still, it was like there was no soul to it, you know? So that's why whenever I talk about something like Breath of the Wild, or whenever I talk about Andromeda, like I did today, it's always tough for me to even get through my opinions without feeling a bit sour, just because I haven't played Andromeda. I haven't played Breath of the Wild. And I know a lot of people don't validate my opinions because I haven't played them. But I am just talking about the developer side. And whenever I do talk about Andromeda, or whenever I do talk about Breath of the Wild, or any game that I haven't played, I always say, allegedly the game sucks, or allegedly I hear this glitch and this glitch, and it makes people angry. I never say that it makes me angry. Like I said, this just makes me disappointed. I don't have a stance on the gameplay itself because I haven't played it myself, but I have heard a lot of other people hate it. And so I'm just echoing back the feedback that I hear from other critics and other fans and other things like that. So I don't think it's wise for people to judge a game based off of the gameplay they see on YouTube, or based off of the things they hear. Which is why I rarely ever judge a game from what I do hear. I just state the things that I have heard, and I don't judge it based off of that, you know? And I haven't made a review on that sort of thing, so, you know. So going back to your question, you can probably say yes, you can judge the story because you know the story. But other than that, I don't think you have the right to actually review or judge a game based off of a Let's Play. I think that's kind of insidious, because no matter how much you watch on YouTube, you're never going to actually experience it. You're not going to actually physically hold the controller and you know, feel how the controls feel, how laggy they are, how stiff they are, how loose they are, you know. And you said, oh, what about just 30 minutes of the game? That's still not enough. You have to play the entire thing. There are segments of the game that are glitchier than others. There are segments of the game that are more fun than others. You know, sometimes the game doesn't pick up until after an hour or 2 hours of playtime. You have to experience it yourself, and if you can, try beating the entire game. I respect people who actually beat the entire game before they judge something, but you know, sometimes that's impossible, what with MMOs and whatnot. So yeah, it's just try playing the game for more than 30 minutes, I would say. Try beating it, in fact. If you can't beat it because you actually hate it a ton, I think you probably have fair grounds of reviewing the game, but you probably get a lot more respect if you just beat it. So, those are my opinions. And I know a lot of people are gonna like call me a hypocrite. Motherfuckers, I never reviewed a game that I haven't played, okay? I just stated the facts, stated the things that I heard, okay? Alright, so that was that. Thank you all so very much for watching. I like the fact that these videos are actually really long. I don't mind that at all. But yeah, thank you all so very much for watching. If you have any questions, again, use the hashtag Q and then follow up with your question. Or you can tweet me at my Twitter account right here at Goose Senpai and just give me a hashtag Q there, and I'll probably favorite it. I'll probably retweet it. I usually heart the questions that I'm about to answer, so that's how you know that I'm about to answer it next week, okay? So, thank you all so very much for watching. We will see you all next time. I love y'all. Goodbye.